Okay. Okay, let's start. So last week we learned how to model beams, columns, slabs, and walls, right? So we are going to learn one more element today. Then I go to the modify, how to modify after model, how to modify the elements. Okay, so now we are going to learn staircase, right? So last week we find everything within the structure menu, right? Beams, walls, columns, slabs, everything we find inside the structure menu. But staircase, they park under architecture menu, right? So it's a little bit different, but basically same thing. Or only you can find it from architecture menu, right? So staircase, so go to staircase. Now you can find a staircase. Click the staircase, right? So okay, it's asking to serve the project, so I serve it. It's a common one, so I just serve it first. Uh, Plus three. Okay. So now look at the properties, right? The staircase property, staircase properties, right? So you could look at here, base level. That means which level we want to start the staircase. Which level we have to go up. That means top level, right? The base level, do we want any offset or not? If we able to click exact point, then we don't need to offset. So if we want to offset, then we can plot the offset. Then you see this here stair height, right? This is already calculated because I already select the top level, so it's already calculated, right? 4 meter, right? If you want any offset, then we can plot the offsets, right? So below you can see some more details. So number of rise, that means number of steps. Then what is the height of the rise? What is the width of the rise? And this one, all things you can set up, right? Actually, this one you can change it. If you change this one, right, automatically rise height is calculated. This one also you can change it. Okay. Here, like last time, you remember when we do the beam. Give me a minute. Okay. 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 So if you change the number of steps, right? Height already calculated, automatically calculated. So you don't need to calculate yourself. It's automatically calculated. Okay. So last time, remember when we do the beams and columns, right? We had create the instances, right? So instances. Here we look into it. What are the types of staircase already available? What is this? So you see, assemble staircase. Assemble stairs means it's called like a steel, right? Steel assemble, right? That's called steel. Cast in place stairs. That means monolithic staircase is our normal cast in staircase. Then if you want the precast, then we can go with the precast, right? So normally architect use these kind of the things, right? So we are not going to use one. We are going to use either cast in place, that means cast in situ, or precast. I think precast not interest at this moment, so I go with the cast in situ first, very simple one. So I choose a monolithic staircase. Then I go to edit type, right? Edit type. So I duplicate first. I don't want to change here. I duplicate first. I named my staircase. I call staircase one, right? So I name my staircase, right? So now look in it, maximum rise or height. Okay, this one I can set it. Okay, based on Singapore, normally we go 150. Some countries they go 175. It's depend you. So you can decide 150, 175, whatever. This is maximum. So in the Revit, that's not allowed to go beyond 150. But if you less than 150, it's allowed it. Okay, minimum trade depth. This one is 250. Normally here we follow 250. Some countries they follow 275. Right, it depends. So minimum run width, right? Normally Singapore we go 1200. It's all is depend on the countries. So some countries have different rules. right? Anyway, normally we follow the architect. Normally, structural engineer not decide this one. Architect decide based on the approved building codes. Okay, okay. To us, this is important. Structural depth, thickness. What is the thickness? Run type means stairs depth. Okay, what is the depth of the slab or what is the thickness of slab? This one landing type means landing thickness, how much, right? So let's say stairs I decide 175. Okay, so I duplicate first. So I make it 175, right? So this one make it 175. Okay, then landing thickness. Similar, I make it 175. Okay, so I duplicate this one 175. Or you can use different, yes, just for example only. It's actually based on your design. Okay. So other parameters are not important. So basically, we want rise parameters and structural depth. So I click OK. So now we have to decide. You see, I already enter number of stairs. Let's say I enter only 10, right? Then it skips the rise or height is different, right? So it's wrong. So we have to change it. So I got 27. So to go to second story, we need 27 steps. Okay. So the first story, let's say I start from here, right? So in the offset already showing, right? So I start from here. So I click it. So this means this is a center of the staircase. The clicking point is the center of the staircase. I click here. So look at it. The below, right? Now you can see right in the screen the number of riser I already created. So 10 riser created, 17 remaining, right? So let's say I had a straight staircase. So I just go all the way down and click it. So now staircase already placed it. Then here come and click finish. So staircase already row. So if you zoom in, you can see so many lines, right? So let's go. Okay, just select here and see what is this. So actually, this is a railing. We don't need this one. Okay. We go in 3D and see how it look, right? So staircase looking like this, right? That is straight staircase, right? So to engineer to us, no need railing, right? We can delete it, right? Because it's architecture element. So we can delete the railing in our model. So now look into it. So this thickness is 175. This one is 175. Okay. So this one 150 and this one 250. This is what we set up. So 150 and 250. So if you bring here, this is a type of the staircase. Okay. So just a straight staircase. But generally, we don't do this kind of the staircase. We use a U shape or we use a L shape, right? We don't go very long staircases, right? Unless it's industrial building, we do the very straight staircase. Other than that, normally we have a mid landing. Okay. Now let's see how to create the mid landing. Okay. Go back to the staircase. Click staircase. I am going to follow the same thing, staircase one, right? Same property. I'm not going to change the property, same property. So now I wrote my central line of the staircase here, right? I go to the first level. So I decide first level is 13 steps. So I stop with 13 steps. So this is first level. Then now I had to set up my mid landing. Okay, mid landing. So now I had to pick at the central line of the following staircase. So you see here, you can see two dimensions, right? 1100 from the last steps, right? Then and another dimension is showing is 3350, right? This one from the grid line, right? So this 1100, right? We had to decide how much, because you see my staircase with this 1200, so central line 600, so 1100 is quite reasonable. If you want, okay, you can go minimum, we want 600, so I go 1 meter. Okay, so I click 1 meter. and then I row remaining steps, right? Then click OK. So what is the railing not continuous? Okay, let's go and see, because our arrangement not correct, so that's why railing not continuous. Anyway, we are not interested in the railing, right? So our interest is the staircase. So we go and see what's the problem is the railing. Okay, so the problem is here railing. So now you can understand, right? This was supposed to go up, right? So if we modify this post, right, railing is okay, right? So basically, problem is this railing not continuous. Anyway, this we are not going to design now, so we just delete this railing. So other than that, our staircase is okay, right? So this is our landing. So it's look okay. Understand? So this is most of the time we do this kind of the staircase. Right? Normal our residential building or office building, we do this kind of thing. Okay? So this will become a mid landing. Okay. This is a one way to row the mid landing. There's another way to row the mid landing. Okay. Now let's see how to do the another way mid landing. Go back to the stairs. Right. This property same. I keep it same. So select our center line. So I row 13 step first. Then I stop it. Then now you can see here landing, right? You can see the option called landing, right? Click the landing option, right? So here select the create sketch. That means we are going to sketch it, right? So now landing, right? You can choose a line. If you want that say exact setting out, you can create a line, or you can create a rectangle, right? Depends, right? So when you draw the staircase, right? Normally we have the arc layout, right? So we can pick our point easily, right? So here I call the rectangle. You can call either line, or you can choose a pick line option. Everything you can use it, but for here easy purpose I go to the rectangle. So I pick the first point. Then I decide, okay, what is the length of my width is same as our staircase, right? So length, right? I go 1.5 meter. So 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter. Click it, right? Then now I click it okay. So landing is okay. Then I go back again, run, and choose the center point and draw the remaining. Right now you don't need to calculate, it's automatically draw it. Okay. So click OK. So anyway, we don't bother with the railing at this moment. So it's look like this. Okay. So now you can decide your own landing width. Or actually, this is I wrote a rectangle, right? You can change your profile. If you have a curve and so on, you can do it. Okay, I do one example, simple one. Again, so I click stars and go here 13. Then I select the landing sketch. This time I pick up the line, this line, right? Then I pick up the curve. Okay, I wrote another lines, 1.6 meters, sorry. I wrote the line. I need the two lines. Okay, then I wrote the curve. Okay, I choose this one, click OK. Oh, okay. I have to draw this because I had to close the shape. Okay, close. Now draw the run. So remaining steps. Click OK. Okay. So now let's look into the 3D. So it's look like this, right? Okay. You don't bother about the railing first because our shape is different, so it cannot follow the profile. So just delete it. Our purpose is concrete body. So if you have this kind of shape, you can create it. Okay, understand now? So any shape of the landing you can create, right? So in using this option, you can create any shape of the landing. It's basically sketch. So you can prepare your own profile. Okay. Okay. So I delete this one. So there are some other option. Generally, we don't use it, but it is based on your own staircase design. You can use it, right? You see, there's a spiral staircase, right? Sunrise spider staircase. Okay. Sometimes you guys use this one. So I wrote this one. Okay. These two just draw it, right? Without any detail, just draw it. Okay. I press it here. So you can see the differences. What is this staircase, right? So let's go in 3D and see how it look this staircase. So this staircase look like this, right? So it's not very common. We don't know commonly use. Sometimes you may need to use it, this kind of a staircase, right? Understand? Okay. So these are the profile also you can use it. But our common type is this one, right? Okay. Okay. So this type, all you can draw it. Okay. So basically these are staircase. If you want to try, you can try yourself in the spiral staircase. It's okay. So actually it's very easy one. Just you set up your properties here and click it. Then it's automatically row how many steps. Let's say, okay, like this. So if you go in 3D, you can see the profile. Okay, spiral staircase. Okay, I delete something, otherwise you can understand. Okay, so this is a spiral staircase. Okay, so it's very easy. Just basically you have to give the properties, basic parameters, then you can draw it. Right? Basic parameters are base level, top level. Then if you want the offset, you can put the offset. Then you have to set up your number of rise and what is the width of the one steps. That's all. Then it's automatically you can draw it. Okay. So now you know how to do the staircase. Right. So last week we already captured all basic structural elements. I let me repeat: beam, walls, columns, and floors, right? So now you know how to do all these one. Then now you also now you understand, you learn how to do staircase. Okay. So most of the basic element now we can draw it. Okay. So okay. Next I go into the openings. Right. After that we can go to the modify, how to do the modification, right? So openings. Okay. Under structure, you can see the opening here. One menu called openings, right? The opening there's a different types: by face, by shaft, by for wall opening, vertical opening, dormers, right? So it's not very common. So this one we can use frequently. Okay. So to understand the opening, let me create the yeah, just one B and okay, I do the slab first. So I row the slab. This one you know how to do how to row the slab, right? So I don't spend the time here. So let me row the slab and delete the span. Now we are going to row the openings, right? There's several options. So one simple option for the slab, right? This option only applicable for slab. But select the slab, edit boundary, right? Now you can pick up the shape of the opening. Let's say I want to create a rectangle opening. So I create a rectangle here, right? So I row it a rectangle here. Okay. After row it, right? Actually, you can change this whole setting out, right? So after share row it, you can change the setting out. Okay. If you want to change here, you can change it. All these parameters editable. You can change it. Let's say these are I make it 1200. So it's become 1200. So if you want to change the location, you can make it 3 meter, right? So all this one you can change it, right? It's all is variable. You can change it. Okay. So after that, click OK. Now you go and see in 3D. Okay. There's an opening on the slab. Very easy, Okay. This is one way to do it. This one only applicable for beams. Sorry, slabs. Right. This opening method is applicable only for slab. Right. Okay. Uh, edit, edit boundary. Okay. So if you want to edit the openings, you can edit this opening. Let's say now you want to change the opening type, or you want to increase this one. Okay, let's say this one you want to make 1200 with opening. Okay, you can change it, or you had to edit the profile. Let's say you want to make the oval shape. Okay, so now you can draw it, right? Anytime you can edit it. Click OK, right? Okay, now you can edit this one. Okay, simple. You select, click on the slab, go to the edit boundary and edit this one. Okay, if you don't want this one, delete and click OK. Now you delete the opening, right? There's no any opening, so you can go in 3D and see it. Okay, so it's very simple way. There's another way. It's a standard way to do it. Okay, this is option called Y face. Under opening menu, there's any there's one option called Y face. Y face is explaining. So you got to do the opening Y face. On the face only you can do the opening. So this method is normally used for slab and beams, right? So we can use for slab and beams. So I do slab first, later we go and do in beams. So I choose this one, right? First we have to select the plane, face, which face I am going to make the opening. So now I am on the top, say as a top face of the slab, right? The plan, the level 1 plan. I am on the top surface of the slab. I click the surface. Okay, now SketchUp mode open. So now I can choose my opening shape. So I choose a rectangle and row the openings, right? So this one you can change it if you want. Okay, I make it 1000. This one also I make it 1000. Okay, then you click OK. Okay, now let's go and see in 3D. So in 3D you can see there's opening. Okay. Okay. This one you can do other way also. This one you can I select and delete, right? So let's say it's not common, but sometimes if you want you can do it. Let's say you want opening on this surface, right? So if you want to do this one, what we want to do is we have to go this elevation, because we want to select this face, right? So we call this elevation. So we call elevation. So there's a slab. So now we are going to do the opening here. So let's say we have a pipe here. So I'm going to make the pipe here. So choose the Y face opening, right? So choose a face. So here is you can see level 1. Oh, sorry, the face I think not working. Wait. Oh, this option I actually sorry. It's only workable for beam. So slab this option doesn't work. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. So beam we can do this way. Sorry, slab. So now I'm going to row the beam and see how to do the opening on the beams. Give me a minute. I open my concrete. Okay. Okay. So now let's row the beam. So I pick up from here to here. We row the beam. Not the you may want to check active view. Each one to see why. Why not working? Sorry, give me a minute. Why not working? Today I am working on new environment, so I had to load everything. So give me a minute. Let me load column, rectangular column. Why it's not working? On. I want to check the each parameter and filter. Why it's not working? I think crash it. I open again. So something wrong in my computer. I got a new. I create the new projects. Okay, I quickly draw the grids. This is an, okay. Uh, okay. This one not work is working, no problem. Actually, there's some crash on the earlier file. Okay. Yeah, these things you know it, so I don't spend the time here. I row the concrete beams. Okay, so I row it here. Right. So I cut the section here. So to cut the section, you have to go to annotate sections. Look for section. Where is it? Sorry, view, annotate. Full section. I don't. Sorry, I cannot find out. Anyway, let's go to the elevation. South elevation. Okay. So here, what is Aksa openings by face, right? Face. So we are going to make the opening on this face. So select the face. So in the beam, let's say we are going to make the circle opening, pipe opening, right? So select the center of the beam and right now you let's say we want 200 or 100, let's say 250 diameter, 300 diameter, right? So I enter 150 radius and click OK, right? So you go to this 3D. Now you can see there's opening. I close this all everything. I close it. So on the plan, you can see because we row in this elevation. So you can see this opening, pipe opening. So this is Y face. Okay. So now let's go back and see. Okay. Y face. Okay. Shaft. Right. Shaft opening actually a little bit different. So now you can see this one, right? So this figure you can see, right? If I bring the cursor here, so the figure, right? So soft opening means if you have the same repeating opening throughout the building, right? Then you can use this option. Otherwise, this option not useful. So let me go to level 1 and do this one, then you can understand. So level 1, I row this one slab first. Okay, I use a rectangle option and use a slab. So slab opening slab, I already wrote it. Right, delete this one. Okay. Now let's go to the soft opening option. Right. Similar to slab opening, you can choose any type and choose a rectangle and draw it. Right. These things you can modify it. Now look into the properties side. So base constraint. That means where you want to start your shaft. So we are starting level 1. So top constraint, right? If you say unconnected, then you can set up your height. If you if you say this is level 2, then it's go until level 2, right? So base offset 300 means the slab thickness 300. So it's 300 to top level, level 2. Okay, click OK. Now go in 3D and look into it. So you can see this shaft from first story to second story. Let's say now I am drawing the opening on the second, I am drawing the slab on the second story. So this slabs I'm going to draw in second story also. So I take the slab element and draw the slab. Use rectangular option and use this one. Okay, click OK. So now you see the automatically yes opening come here. You didn't draw it, but you're taking it because this is soft opening. So let's say if you create a level 3, it's go up. Okay, if you want to try it, you can try level 3, then you can go up. Give me a minute. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you understand, right? We wrote the opening only at the first story, but we can see in level 2 because this is a shaft, right? This whole shaft is opening. If you want to try it, you can try in level 3. After add the one more level, right? You can do it, right? You know how to add the levels, right? So I don't play the time, so you can do it. So this one called is a shaft opening. Okay, then it's all wall opening. To understand the wall opening, let me draw the wall first. So let me draw the one wall here from here to here. Okay. Okay. So the wall opening is also like a shaft opening. So you have to draw on the elevation, right? So I got elevation, south elevation. This is my wall. So click wall opening and draw it. So you select the surface and draw here. Right. So, but here in the problem is you can draw only rectangle opening, right? You cannot draw any other shape of the opening. Okay. So let's say this one you have 1500, right? 1500 width. Then let's say this one is 3 meter. So you can set 3 meter. Okay. So 1500 3 meter. This height let's say 800, right? You can set up, right? But disadvantage is you can draw only rectangle opening. So let's say if you want to draw any type of the opening, any shape of the opening, right? What you want to do is you have to edit the wall. Like with a slab, you can edit the wall boundary and do it. So what we can do is we select the wall first. Right? Now is the edit profile option showing. Click the edit profile. Then now you see your SketchUp mode already open up, right? Now you can sketch up your own opening, right? So let's say you want oval shape. So I wrote this one, this opening, right? Then I delete these two things. Sorry, I click OK. Then I go here, edit profile, right? I delete these two lines, right? Draw the arc. Also, I draw the arc. Now click OK. Okay, you can draw this profile in the wall, right? So like slab wall also you have two options, by face or edit profile. Okay, so this a way we can make the opening on the wall, slab and beams. Okay, if you want to make opening on the column, you can do the same thing, right? Let's say you want to you want to cast one pipe inside the column, or you want to make the opening on the column, right? So you can use a soft opening if you want, right? So from second or first story to second story, you can do it, right? So let's say here you want a cut diameter pipe inside, you can use a soft opening and do it. Okay, so if you want a surface by surface, then like beam, you have to go to this elevation, right? Elevation and do the opening like beam. Okay. Okay. Now let's see how to do what is a vertical opening. So this vertical opening normally we use for the ramp, right? So let me draw the RAM first. Last week we see how to draw the RAM. So RAM also like a slab. So I first what we want to do is we want to draw the rectangular slab. So I draw the rectangular slab first, right? Then I had to draw the arrow. Okay, from which level to which level is going. So I pick up the arrow from bottom to top. So I had to set up the property of the arrow. So height at trail, right? Okay, this is a slope, right? This one is a level 1. This one is a level 2. So this is going from level 1 to level 2. Okay, then click OK. Okay, now vertical opening, right? So I click the vertical opening, then come under the slab and select the surface, right? Then you can draw your opening. So I draw the circular rectangular opening now, right? And click OK. Okay, so go to the 3D. Now you can see the opening. Okay, so now look into it, right? Opening is vertical. To understand the difference, right? I wrote the another opening using normal surface option. So I wrote the another opening use a biface option. I select the surface. I am doing the same thing side by side. Click OK. So let's go to the 3D and see the difference. Okay. Now can I understand the difference? What's the meaning of vertical opening and normal opening, right? If you draw the normal opening, it's perpendicular to the plane. But if you do the vertical opening, it's vertical, right? So this is a difference. So based on your requirement, you can do your opening, right? So these are the type of the opening you can do it, right? So most of the type of the opening already cover under these options. Okay. So now you know how to do the openings. Okay. So far we cover all basic element to do the structural modeling, right? All basic element I already captured it. Then now let's go and study how to do the alignment or modification, right? So after draw these slabs or beams, how to modify. Some option I already covered, but I go back and again and do the revisions so you can understand more. So to understand this one, I delete all the slabs. So I delete all the slabs, right? So I leave it on the columns. Okay, I draw some more walls. So let's say I have the wall here, another wall. Let's say I have another wall here. Okay, then I'm going to draw some beams, right? I click chain so I can draw continuously. Okay. Okay. So now there's a requirements. Architect want to align this column to the grid. So how to align this column to the grid? To this grid. So that means this surface they want to align to this grid. So this is a requirement. So how to do it? So we go to the modify, right? So now we are going to learn how to use these all options. Basically, these are all modification options, right? So like AutoCAD, you have the cut, you have the extend, you have the trim, right? Similarly, we have the option here, right? So first let's see if this is a align. So how to align? To align this one, right? So there's a two things. First one is a multiple alignment. If we tick multiple, then we one click we can do many elements. Or if we don't tick this one, then we have to do one by one. Then this one prefer is wall surface, right? So or center of the bar. This one normally applicable for wall. So now we are going to do the column. So we don't bother with this one. So I go single first, then we can go to the multiple. So first what we want to do is we have to select the reference point. Okay, this is a reference, the grid line. So I click. Then we choose the surface which need to be aligned. I click this surface. So it's automatically aligned. Okay. So now let's continue for the other column. So now I am not going to use one by one. I am going to use all in the one. So I click multiple. Then this option, this one already select. So I click this surface. Sorry. I click align again or tick the multiple alignment option. Select the baseline, right? Then select the surface, right? Now I can do it multiple. Okay. So all the column is aligned. Okay. So now my another because column already aligned, right? Beam was supposed to align, right? Right. So what I'm going to do this surface of the beam I want to align to here. That means the grid. I want to align to grid. So same thing. So what I'm going to do is select the alignment tool, stick the multiple alignment, select the grid lines, right, as a base reference, then select the surface which need to be aligned. So now you click it, you align it because why is happen? The beam be draw using chain option. If you draw one by one, then you supposed to do one by one. Okay. So now you already align it. So this is a way you can align it. So let's say this column you want to align to this grid line, you can do it. Click the align, right? Click single, you don't need multiple, click grid lines and align to surface, right? This is a way you can do this one also. Okay, this is for the columns and beams. Similarly, you can align the walls. Let's say this wall you want to align inwards. So what you want to you do, select the align tool, select the grid line, baseline, and select the surface. So you can align it. Now can you see this one? There's this one lock. So what's the difference between unlock and lock? If you unlock it, so next time let's say I move the grid lines. Let's say I move the grid line down, right? Your column not moving, right? So it's bad, right? Because you suppose to align with your grid line, but if actually move the grid lines, right? Or if you remove for the requirement, right? Then your wall does not follow the grid lines. So if you want to follow it, what you want to do is when you align, right? You're supposed to lock it, right? So if you lock it, then it won't move. It will move together with the grid lines. It will move, but it will move with the grid lines. So let's say, so I move these grid lines now. So it's moving together with the grid lines, right? Same principle applicable for the column also. Let's say this column, right? So we align to the grid line bottom, right? So let's see how it's doing this one. So click multiple, select the grid lines, select this one, locate, select this one, locate, select locate, select this one, locate. right? Now, let's say if you move this grid line, okay, because it won't move because this grid line is has a constraint, so you cannot move it because these two are located, so you cannot move it, right? So if you don't lock it, it will move freely, right? That's the reason. Okay. Now, can you see this wall, right? What happened to this wall? When move this grid, right? When they move this grid line, it's not following the grid lines, right? If you lock it, then it will follow the grid line. Now we didn't lock it, so it don't follow the grid lines. Okay. Okay, so this is a difference between lock and unlock. Okay, now you understand how to align the elements and how to lock the element together with the grid line. The purpose of locking is in case in future, if you want to change the grill spacing, then you can straight away change the grill spacing without changing the column alignment, right? Column is still locked with the grid lines. Okay. So this is element tool. So let's see the next tool. Next tool is a offset, right? Is this one may be very familiar, right? So understand this one, I draw some beams first. Let me draw some secondary beams. So I draw the primary beam first. Okay. So using align tool, I align this beam also. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to draw the secondary beams. Okay. So I draw the secondary beam for here first. Right. Okay. So I don't bother with this alignment issue at this moment. Now I want to draw the secondary beam every, let's say, 6 meter. Let's say every 6 meter, I want to draw the secondary beams. So how we can do it? Go to the modify, offset, right? See here offset, right? There's a many options. Graphical, numerical, copy. Okay, graphical means you can specify this one, right? That means when you offset it, right, you have to specify in the screen, right? When you click numerical, you can fix your own offset, right? Let's say, okay, I already click copy, I explain later on. So let's say graphical. So I select this beam, right? So I offset it, right? Now you can offset any distance, right? So you can choose it. Actually, you can type in the keyboard 4 meter or 6 meter. Let's say my requirement 6 meters. So I 6 meter, right? But if you click 6 meter numerical, right? Here, if you fix 6 meter, right? When you click here, right? So, sorry. Okay, when you click one, you have to be careful, right? Well, the reason is why it's giving the warning, right? I click this side, so it's going to offset this side. But if you want to offset this side, right? My right hand side, right? You have to click on the right hand face, right? Then you have to click on the right hand face. If you click on the left hand face, right? Now you see the dotted line, right? It's supposed to place on the right hand side, left hand side, right? So you careful on the alignment. So go to here. So next one. Okay. So you can do the offset like this. Okay. Now let's say I want to move this one to here. Okay, we can use a move option, but I use another one, the offset one. Okay, so I say don't copy, right? So I want to offset graphically. So how we can do is we can offset this one to here. Okay, so basically it's a move option, but we can use offset to do it. So this one not copying, actually it's more offsetting from the base point. So this is a difference between copy and not tick the copy. Okay, so this is the offsets, right? Now let's see how to do the mirror, right? Mirror also there's a two option, pick axis and row axis, right? So let's understand one by one. To understand this one, what I am going to do is I delete this wall first, right? So I draw the one column here. right? So I select mirror pick axis option. Okay, now I had to pick the axis. Pick axis I is going to be act as a mirror, right? So I select the axis, then I select the object. Sorry, why it's not working? Okay, sorry. Okay, it's supposed to do the other way. Okay, sorry. Okay, first we had to select the object, go to the mirror, I pick axis option, click, then we had to pick a axis. Now you can is audio offset, audio mirror, right? So okay, now you can check it. Okay, if you go to measure, right? So if you measure the distance between from here to here and here to here, 10 meter, right? Okay, so it's two right way. Okay, there's another way. Okay, so it's another option called mirror. We have to roll the axis. Okay, so we how we can do it? We select the object, go to the mirror, row axis, right? So now I can draw axis. I can draw vertical axis, horizontal axis, or incline axis. First, I draw horizontal axis. Okay, let's say I am going to roll like this, right? So it's mirror image like this. Okay. So similarly, if you want, you can draw the diagonal axis also. Let's say I am going to roll like this. So it's mirror like this. So there's a plenty of option. You can do the mirror. You can take the mirror image anyway, any option. You can use any options. So there's plenty of way to do the mirror. Okay. So now let's go to the split option. Split also two option, split element with cap, right? To understand this one, I wrote the walls. Generally, we have to, normally we want to split the walls and beams. So first I draw the wall first and see how this option is working. Okay, so select the wall, go to the modify, right? Split, right? So now come to the wall object. Okay, so you can see the like dimension line, right? So you can type when you see the dimension line, you can type in the keyboard also if you want to change it, right? So let's say I want to start from 3.5 meter, right? So I click 3.5 meter starting point, right? Now I want to select the cap, how much cap I want. Let's say 1 meter. So I click again, right? And escape. So now you can see here this beam is split by 3 elements. So if you don't want this one, you can delete it. So now you successfully you successfully split the walls. So this option is working this way. Okay, so I keep it this one. Okay, I can keep it. Let's understand next option. How it's working split with cap. So I wrote the another wall here. Same way, I go to the modify, select the split with cap, right? So now we are going to select only one point. Okay, let's say it's about 6 meter away from the grill line, right? So you see cap, right? The cap we suppose is specified here, right? So if I specify here, it's automatically created, right? So I didn't specify earlier, so that's why it's not created. So when we do this work, we supposed to create a specify the cap. So I undo first. So go back to the split. So I specify the gap comma 250 mm. So I select the center line 5.5 meter from the grill line. Click it. Now you see this cap is 2.5 to 250 mm. So if you have the doubts, you can go and measure it. Okay, this is 250 mm, right? Okay, okay. And the disadvantage of this option is there's a limitation on the gap. So I think maximum 350 or something, 3 meter, 300 or 350. Okay, you see, when I enter 350, right, it's saying I can go maximum 304, right? So it's a limitation in the Revit. They don't allow it. But if you want to split more than this one, you have to use the first option, right? You have to specify the 2 point and delete the center point manually, right? If you gap within 300 mm, then you can use a second option. Okay. Okay, so now I delete this one. Okay, so now we are going to understand pin, unpin, right? So to understand this one, I wrote the column first. Okay, I wrote the 2 columns. Sorry. Okay, I select this column and click pin. So now you can see one mark here, right? One simple. So this means this column is pinned to this grid lines. Okay, so this column is pin it, right? So now if you move these grid lines, why this grid line not moving? Okay, let me move it. I love this one. Okay, now it's moving. It's moving. Okay, why this column is moving together? Because I click the option here, move with grid lines, right? If I untick this one, then when I move this one, it won't move. Okay, this is another way to do it. So if you pin together, so it's always move together with the grid lines. So okay, another why we are pinning is another way is why we want to pin it. Okay, I pin this one also. After I explain it, I pin this one, right? So these 2 columns are pinned, right? So the advantage of pinning is right. After pinning, right, you can come here and there's a one option called select pin element, right? If you untick this one, you cannot select the pin element, right? You cannot select it. Okay, now you cannot select this one. You cannot select this column, right? If you want to really lock the column, right, then you can pin it and come and click this option, right? Then you cannot select the column. That means the column is inactive. So when you do the modification, column is not affected. If you want to lock the column, you can do this way, right? Okay. So it's a bit. Okay, now you know how to, now I can select the column, right? You spin it, but still I can select the column. But if you click this option, you cannot select it, right? If you try it, you cannot select it. You can select the grid, but you cannot select. Normally, this option be used for the grid lines. After we finish the grid line, we pin the grid line, we lock the grid line. So they cannot modify the grid line because when you do the modification, right? Actually, you may delete or you may extend or you may change the grid line. So if you pin it and if you lock it, then we cannot change the grid systems, right? That's the purpose. Normally we use this pin option and select option. Okay. So if you want to unpin this one, click here, unpin. Similarly, you can click here and unpin it. Okay. So now you can send these columns. You can move this column, no issue. If you want, you can move this column. Okay. This is the pin and unpin. Okay, now let's go to the next option, scale. I think it's not at this stage, we don't need these options. This one we can do it later on. Next option we are going to see array, right? Array. So this array, right? So now let's see this column. I want to in between these two grid lines, right? I delete this one. In between these two grid lines, I want to row 5 columns, for example. So how we can do is we select the columns and go to array options, right? Okay, right. So now here there is a option we have to select it, right? So there's a 2 types of array. One is linear array, another one angular array or radial array. So first we see the linear array, right? So another option we supposed to choose is group and associate. The group Okay, if you tick group, the after you create the array, right, it's become a group. If you untick this one, then it's all are independent, all are individual elements. It's become an individual element. So now I click group. So after create the array, it's become a group. So how many element we needed? I create 5, right? Then move to second or last, right? So what I want is in between these two grill lines, I want to create 5. So I go to last, right? In second mean spacing. Okay, if I create here, right? Let's say create here. So okay, first I explain is second, that means spacing. Then yeah, I explain the last. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain second. That means spacing between first and second. So I can decide 2 meters. So I click 2 meter, right? 2 meter. Okay, so now you see you have the 5 columns, five elements at 2 meter spacing. Okay, this 5, if you want, you can change it. You can increase or you can reduce it because this is a group. Okay, let's say I increase to 7, right? It's create 7, right? So I do the second one. Okay, I copy this column. Okay, because now I cannot copy because it's a group. So I row it. I row one column here. So I'm going to try without group. So now you can see the differences. Create array, right? Select the column, create the array. Okay. Okay, I click ungroup. I ungroup it. I same as I create a 5. I create second 2 meter, 2 meter, right? 5. Okay. Now all are individual. You see, it's not group, it's the individual. But here is a group. Still, you can change it, right? You can change, you can reduce it, or you can increase it. Then whatever you want, you can do it because this is a group, it's still group. But this is you create as an individual, so it's become an individual column. So based on your requirement, you can create either group or a individual. Okay. Okay. So now let's see the another option called last. Right. So I select the column, go to the array. Okay. Same as 5, right? Now I want to move to last. So I select the last, this one, move to here, right? In between, I have the 5 elements. Sorry, total 5 elements, right? So it's doing this way. Last time we choose the spacing. Now we choose the first point and last point. So in the total, it plays a total number of element we require. Okay. So this way array is working. So this is called linear array. So okay. So this one okay. Now let's see how to do the radial array or angular array. So first select the element. Okay, I select this element, go to the array. So choose a radial option, right? So now the important place is center of rotation. You have to place a center of rotation. Automatically select is choose the selector column. This column currently this column is a center of rotation. So if you want to, if you normally we don't use the same, right? Generally we don't use the same, but for understanding purpose I do it same. Okay, so I choose a full second. So what I'm going to do is from here, this point to I choose 30°. So now see the differences, right? Same points because center of rotation same. So this place a column on the same place, different angle, right? Okay, so we don't want this one, so I delete it. I say select the column, choose it. Okay. Let's say I want 5 numbers. I group it. Okay. I choose as a first and last. Okay. Before that, I place a center of rotation. Okay. Center of rotation, I place it here. Right. So now I had to place, I had to select the first and last. Sorry, first and second. First one, this one. Second, I choose the 30 degree. Right? Now you see 30 degree, 30, 60, 90, 120. So all together 125 numbers. So if I choose another two, this one 120, 150, and 180. Okay, understand? So we place a column in the radial direction. Okay, actually you can change these numbers. Okay, if you want, you can change it. But maximum is to 360. So let's say if I increase to 15, it will give the warning. You cannot increase more than 360. So maximum is 360. So I can go maximum is 13 or 12. Sorry, to make that because it's 30 degrees. So I can go maximum 12. Okay. So this way is radial array is working. Similarly, you can make as a group or you can make as an individual. Also, you can select a first and last or first and second. So it's depend on your requirement. You can do it. Okay. So I think okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. And right, you can practice yourself. Okay, I delete all this one. Okay, array is okay. So let's move quickly. So we have three more options, right? Move, copy, rotate, and remain extend, right? So quickly we go copy, move, almost same, right? So it's very fast one. So I quickly do it. So copy easy one. What you want to do is you select the elements, select the copy, and pick the point and move to the point. Okay, easy. Right. I don't need to spend a lot of time. So say similarly move, select the element, so click the move options, say pick point, base point, then move to the point, place point. Okay, you can move from here to here, right? So these two are very easy, right? Rotate little bit different. So let me explain. Click, okay, so first what you want to do is select the elements, click rotate. So rotate also like angular array or radial array. So what you want to choose is, okay, if you want to rotate the column in the same place, then center of rotation is the same place, right? So now you have to choose an angle. Okay, let's say we had to rotate from base horizontal to 30 degree or 60 degree. So I select the base point first, then I rotate. Now you can see the column is rotating, right? So 45 degree. So the column is rotated 45 degree, right? So or if other way, we can rotate it. So it's a center of rotation same, right? We click the base point first, base line first, then we rotate, right? So we can rotate it. This way we can rotate it. Okay. So you can do it either way. The another way is actually you can change the center of rotation point, right? So now you can change the center. Currently, center of rotation is here, right? The column center. I'm going to change the center of rotation. Click place, then I'm going to place the center of rotation. So I pick the center of rotation. Now you can rotate from this center of the rotation. So that means now you have to choose a base point and rotate it. So let's say it's a 50 degree. So it's kind of a move and rotate. You are moving and rotating because your center of rotation is here. Okay. Similarly, you can copy. When you move it, you can copy also. When you rotate, you can copy also. Right. So here you see there's an option called copy, another option called disjoin. Right. So if you copy, you can disjoin also. Disjoin means you can ungroup it, or you can group as you can keep as the same group. Right. I copy first. I click copy. I place a center of rotation here, right? My first point here, then I copy here 35 degree, I copy it, right? So now it's a new copy. This column I copy to here with the angle, right? So this is, there's no link between these two columns. Let's see if I click this joint, right? Copy, center place. I move this way, right? So it's totally disjointed. Okay, so this way is working, right? So rotate, copy. If you want to copy and rotate, you can use it. You don't need to use copy option. You click that copy and you can rotate together. Okay, okay. So these three options simple. It's like almost these all options almost like a AutoCAD. No much difference, right? So now let's quickly go and do the trim and extend. Okay, I think I have 45 minutes only. Okay, let me go faster. Okay, okay, let me see the rim and extend first. Okay, so understand this one. Normally these options working for the walls and beams, right? You can do for the beams and walls. So I draw some wall first. So I draw here. One wall here, another wall. I draw one vertical wall. Okay. So now go to the modify, click these options. So, okay, first select here. Now you had another difference. So, okay, I select here and I choose this one. See the difference is delete all this wall and is make like this. Is trim and extend. This wall extended and this wall trimmed, right? Reason is I selected above this wall, so all this one is trimmed, right? So I undo it. So now same option, I click the same option. I select below. Now you can see my cursor right below and select this wall. You see top portion is trim, right? So when you do the work, right, you have to careful on the selection point, right? Is work according to the selection point. So if you select on top, is trim up downward. If you select bottom, then if trim upward, right? So you have to careful on this one. Okay, this option is working this way, right? There's a two more option for the extend. This one is a single extend. This one is a multiple extend, right? So I draw one more wall, then I can do it both. Okay, so let's go and see. I select the single extend first. So I select the base point, right? Select the extend. So now it's extended here, right? So similarly, okay, now you understand single, right? As multiple similar, select the base, then select one by one. Okay, so you can extend it. So similarly, it is a wall, right? You can do on the beams also, right? You can try on the beams the same way, right? Same way is working, right? Finally, this is a delete, right? If you want to delete anything, right? You say I delete this one, I delete it, right? Delete. Otherwise you can press a keyboard delete, right? Okay. So there's another option. I had to cover here, then we can go and study how to set up the project. So it's a measurement, right? So if you click measurement, there's a two-way measurement between two reference point, measure along element. First, we understand what is measure between two reference point. Okay, I click this option. Let's say I want to see the distance between these two grid lines. So I click first reference and second reference, right? Then click, right? So now you can see the distance, right? So yeah, I didn't see. Okay, now you can see the distances. Okay, so similarly, let's say you want to you want to know this length of the beam, right? So you can click one reference point and another reference point. So you can see the distance, right? You see the distances, right? So let's say you want to see the distance between this column to this beam to this column face, right? So you can see the distance. Okay, so this is the distance between two reference point. Okay, next one is measure along element. That means you can choose the elements, right? So beams or the walls, you can do it. Okay, column is not working. So the beams or walls. Okay, you pick the beam, then it shows the length. You can see the center to center distance, right? Similarly here, you can see the center to center distance. So if you want to understand the walls, then let me row the wall. So I row the wall, one wall here. So if you want to measure the wall, you can measure same way. Okay, 11.1 meter long wall. Okay, this is easy, like even easier than AutoCAD, right? You can measure faster. Okay, I think that's all my basic class for the Revit, right? So now you understand how to row the elements, how to modify the elements, right? Basic element you can do it. So end of this class, right? I can send to you the AutoCAD file. Actually, that's an example. I am going to start from the 4th week, right? Next week, sorry, next class I will start like Tekla Saksara Designer, Saksara Design software. So we run through the such software. After that, I'll go and do the framing, Saksara framing, car to do the initial framing. After finish the initial framing, we come back to the Revit and do the actual modeling on the example building. For your practice, I sent to the all drawings. Actually, this is a 5-story building, simple building. Actually, this is a real building. I already complete this building. So this real building project, I sent you the architect AutoCAD drawings. So you start to model it. Then you can practice on the actual drawings, how to do the modeling. Then only you can understand the problems. Because if you do the normal example, you cannot understand the problems, right? So if you work on the actual project only, you can understand the problem. Then you can go back and see my videos and understand how to do the modeling. Okay, so end of this class, I can share the all AutoCAD drawings, so you can start to practice it. Okay, so I already cover all basics, right? So now I am going to explain how to set up the projects. Okay, sometimes these are not important for us, right? Because success engineers normally not starting the project. I mean, project normally started by architect. Architect set up the basic draw model, then success engineering start from the archi model. So normally we are not the one first initiate the modeling. Architect is the one normally initiate the modeling, but I want to cover some basic things because sometimes we had to collaborate with other consultant or other sub consultant. Let's say we have many teams, so we are working on the big projects, so we had to share the models. So my B team doing the one part of the project, A team doing the another part of the project. End of the day, we had to bind these two model, make as a one model. So to this purpose, we had to understand how this all binding is working, right? So basically, this is working based on the project base point. To understand this one, I go back and explain something about survey point and base point. What's the difference between survey point and base point? Normally in practice, structural engineer normally don't use a survey point much, but normally architect use this one. But I explain to you, if you want, you can use it. Uh, if you use a survey point, actually, right, you can pick up your coordinate. You can calculate your coordinate. Actually, no need to calculate. You can in the screen or in the element, you can pick up your coordinate. Let's say if you want to setting out one column, normally what we do is we setting out the grid lines, right? First we setting out the lines, then we calculate the distance between the grid line to column center, then we set out the column, right? This is a normal way to do it, right? But now if you do the actual survey point, if you pick up the actual survey point and if you keep the actual coordinate system, then column coordinate you can pick up from the model, right? So I am going to explain this one. Okay, it may be fast, but it's very easy. So this one actually for actual project you may not need, but it's better to understand. Okay, so this one I am going to start from beginning. So I close this one. I serve it. Okay. Uh, Give me a minute. I open the model and come back. Okay. When you open the Revit, you see this screen, right? So I click new, right? So here you can choose anything, right? Saksa or construction. I choose Saksa, right? Generally, right? Generally, if you want to set up this project base point things, right? We do on the construction templates. We don't do on the Saksa template, but is you can choose anything, right? It's no problem, right? So for changing purpose only, I choose Saksa template, but sorry, the construction template you can choose on the Saksa template as well, no problem, right? I choose a Saksa construction templates. Okay. So now your screen look like this, right? So come to the floor plans. So can you see one thing called site, right? Normally, when you select the structure template, right, we don't see this one, correct? We see only level 1, level 2, right? But here we see the site. Okay, we are going to set up our all project base point inside. It doesn't mean you cannot set up other levels. You can set up, but it's a standard because other level normally we do the modeling or building modeling. So the survey plan we are do normally we attach in the site plan, right? So it makes sense, right? Survey plan means site plan. Then we can create our own levels. So I choose a site, right? Now you see the difference level. You didn't see anything here, right? But when you choose a site, right? Now you can see something here, right? Okay, so I select here. Now you can see, okay, I filter. So now you see what is this? Project base point or survey point, right? So there's a 2 points. So I select one and click outside, right? So okay, I move it here. Okay, so this is called project survey point. Triangle one called survey point, right? So this one circular one called project base point. Okay, I come back later on the difference between these two. What is a survey point and what is a project base point, right? So first I set up the units, right? Project units, right? Okay. Now I share with you the another survey plan, actual survey plan, so you can see. Then we can understand how to set up the project units. So new share, go to new share. Let me choose my survey plan. Mm, uh, Okay, can you see my survey plan, PDF plan? I think you can see my survey plan, right? Okay, this is one of my projects. Again, it's real one, right? Okay, anyway. Okay, so this is my side boundary. You can see the red line, right? So this is a side boundary. So these are roads, main roads, right? Okay. So this one I cannot share with you. I can just show in the screen because this project I cannot share with you. But normally those who have experience, right? You know how survey plan or topo plan look like, right? So normally topo plan look like this, right? So I zoom it now, right? The red color is our side boundary, right? It's a side boundary. Normally survey put the number here. You can see the number here, right? 106, 107, 105, right? So 101, right? They give the survey coordinate, global coordinate of this point. 101 to 10, what is the north, what is the east, right? So normally they give these points, right? So we each point now we know the coordinates. Okay. So this is basic information I have it. So I have AutoCAD as well as PDF, right? So first I am going to link the AutoCAD, right? Okay, if you have the AutoCAD, it's best to do on AutoCAD, right? In case if you don't have the AutoCAD in the worst case scenario, then you can link to the PDF. PDF actually is not accurate because sometimes a PDF is not generated based on the standard, right? Then you cannot pick the point. You had to randomly, you had to approximately pick the point, That's why best is AutoCAD drawing. If you use AutoCAD, then you can accurately pick the point. Okay, now I decide I am going to use 101 as a survey point, right? Later I explain how to set up the base point, right? First I set up the survey point. Okay, so now I'm going to Revit. Okay, 101 coordinate. Okay, so this coordinate system in meter, right? So survey drawing size meter. So I set up the project unit first. So to set up the project unit, we have to go to manage menu, look for project units, right? So look, length, right, is in millimeter. So I am going to change to meter, right? Decimal, I want only 3 decimals, 001. Okay. Area, meter square, I think others are not interested. Okay, click, right? I click survey point, right? So when you move survey point, you see your coordinate not changing. But if it move the base point, right, coordinate changing. Okay, this coordinate actually changing relation to uh, with respect to survey point, right? So your coordinate change accordingly, right? You see, if you move here, your coordinate change, right? So survey or normally survey point is a fixed one, right? The project base point is based on the survey point. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this one. Okay. When you select this one, right, the property you're gonna change it. So if you want to change it, what you want to use, you have to unclip this one. Okay, unclip. Now you can change it. Okay, so now I open my survey drawing. I look at the numbers. North, right? North is 330. Actually, it's 33,201. 33,201. 201.198. 198. East 30,150. 30,150.729. Okay. So I don't set the elevation. If you want, you can set the elevation also, right? Here in based on this survey point, the elevation is 2.53 meters. So I can set the elevation also. I just set up the elevation. Okay. Now you see, you can see your uh, survey point because it's very far, right? So I want to zoom tip it. So you see my survey point is here, right? So what I can do is now I can lock it, then I can move it. I can move it now, right? Okay. So now in the project base one is, so if you move the base one, it's moving, right? Okay. So it's okay. So if this one I lock it, it cannot change. This is a project base point. So this point is 101. We fix it, right? Okay. So now I am going to link my uh, survey drawing. Okay. To link the survey drawing, you got to insert, right? There's an option called link cat file. If you want to link PDF, then you can choose a link PDF. So now I'm going to link cat. So I click the link cat. Okay. Now I had to choose I had to browse my file, the topo plan. So my topo plan is one. I choose a topo plan. So now look at the options, right? Colors, right? Okay, we can use invert. Inverts mean if we have the dark colors in the AutoCAD, it make it light. If you have the lighter color, it make it darker. So it's called invert, right? Preserve means is we can import as it is, right? It's preserve the it's a setting. Black and white means make it as a black and white. The background black and color line color all lines are white, right? So I make it preserve, right? Layers, we can choose a layers by I select all import unit, right? So you can allow the auto redirect or you can choose meters, right? I leave it auto redirect, right? Then in the important point is positioning, right? What we want to do is we had to manually originate because our point we already set up, right? So if we automatically do it, right, it's go to the 0, 0, right? So I am going to manually so place this one, okay, manual. So place at site, okay, level 1, okay, this one we are doing anyway, okay. So click, okay, uh, okay, okay. Now it's a custom center, so I place it first, then we can move it. So we can move, okay, I place it somewhere first, okay. Okay, now I want to look for 101, right? Okay, where's the 101? Okay, this is a 101. So my survey point, I want to move to here. After move here, right? I pin the survey point. I pin the survey point. Now my survey point is pinned, cannot be changed, cannot be moved. Okay, okay. Now I look for my base point. This is my base point. I move it here. Okay, so sorry. Uh, sorry. Oh, I'm selecting together. Sorry. Let me see how to select only survey. Okay. Modify filters. Okay, I keep it this one first. Okay, I do this way. Okay, I keep it this one first. Okay, now look into it. This survey drawings, right? Okay, basically what we want this survey, we want these boundary lines, right? Boundary line only, right? Others we are not interested, right? Anyway, right? So what I'm going to do is I draw the boundary line first, right? Then I off this drawing. Then we can work on these drawings. Okay. Okay. Now I am going to draw the lines. In order to draw the lines, we had to go to annotate detail lines, right? So we can pick the line because it's AutoCAD drawing. So I can pick the lines. So I pick it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I pick it all outlines. Why there's a lot of lines? Okay. Okay. So now basically I draw all boundary lines. Okay. So now what I can do is I can unlink this one, right? So in order to unlink, go to the insert, right? Manage link, then look for head. This one I unload it, right? So now you can see this one, right? Okay. So this will not properly draw. Anyway, this is not important to us now. Okay. We can modify this one, right? So now you have a project boundary. Also, you have set up your project points. Okay. So now you can move this one. Okay. This I'll let me explain later on how to set up this one. Oh, Okay. 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 I like it, this one. Okay. Okay. So now look into it. This one, right? We have the project where survey point, right? This is our boundary line. But you see this side, right? It's very hard to model it, right? Because it's look one angle, right? So this now we are going to rotate this one. So that's what we call as a project node, right? So in the properties, right, you can see, right, orientation is true north and project node, right? So now I am going to set up my project node, right? To set up the project node, what we want to do is we can select this point, go to manage, look for project location, position location, position location, rotate project node, right? So it's asking us to align the line, right? So I say this is my project node. So it's rotated accordingly. Okay, so in case you want to see the actual node, true node, then you choose the true node in the project, apply, then you can see the choose node, the true node, right? Then if you want to change the project node, you can change it, right? Now is a project node, right? So this is a bound line, you have it, right? This is a project survey point, right? The project base point we can set up later on. Okay, now project base point. Okay, normally project base point, right, we place one side in the building because it is a survey point, right? Actually it's a base point for the coordinates, right? So this one is actually is moving, right? Is we can move it, right? But this is a fixed point, we cannot change it. Okay, so this is a fixed point, cannot change because this survey point cannot be changed. Okay. So you see, when you select this one, there's a coordinates, this one. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the grid lines. Okay. So let's say I decide, okay, offset from here. I decide I have the offset or whatever. So I say 2 meter offset from here. Why it's not working? Okay. So I draw my first grid line 2 meter away from the boundary line, right? So I pick up here. Okay, I change it, this one. Okay, I align this one. Okay. Then I draw the horizontal grid lines. Right. Okay. For horizontal grid lines also, I draw it maybe 2 meter away from 2.4 meter, 2 meter. Right. Okay. Oh, sorry. What's the problem? Let me see. Okay. I place a horizontal grid lines. Okay. Then I change the name A. Okay. So now this one I am going to make as a project base point. Okay. This one I am going to make as a project base point. Okay. Now this is my project base point. Okay. The first grid I make as a project base point. After that, I pin this project base point. Pin it. So it cannot be changed anymore. I lock this one. Also, I lock it here, right? So you can select even project base point or survey point. If you want to select it, you can unlock here. Then only you can select. It's kind of the protocol. Otherwise, So when you do the modification, actually you may change the project reference line, reference point. That's why normally we look it here. So now you can change it here. So this is a project base point. Okay, this is a survey point. Now let's say if you want one coordinate here, let's say we are going to test it, right? This coordinate, right? So go to annotate, spot coordinate, select the point. Now you can see the coordinate. What's the coordinate, right? So this is a coordinate. If you want to test it, we can go back to our survey plan and test it. So this is correct point. Okay, so if you want to test it, you can do it. So next time you can now you know how to do how to create a grid lines, right? How column and so on, you know how to do it, right? Next time, if you want the coordinate of any point, you can simply pick up from here, right? So this survey, normally we set up the project base point and survey point, right? Okay, in case if you don't have a survey drawing, right? Or if you don't want to set up the actual coordinate, we can make as a 0, 0, right? We don't need to set up any points. We just make as a 0, 0. Right? That's one also correct, right? But disadvantage is you cannot get the actual coordinate system. You can get only the reference coordinate system, right? Okay. Okay, so now you are ready, right? Okay, actually, why I want to do it? Why I want to do all these works, right? The reason is why I want to set up all these points, right? Okay, so advantage is, okay, I serve with this one. Yeah, I call class site, site. I serve it. Okay, now I am going to open a new file and okay, without referring this one, right? I do my work, right? I am going to model it. Then I am going to import and place it here. Okay, that's the advantage to set up the project coordinate point. Okay, I close it now. Okay, I open the Revit now. Okay, screen. Okay, I create a new. I got the structural templates. Right. So I go level 1. So now, uh, uh, okay, I quickly draw some grid lines. Uh, these things, I don't need to explain. I quickly draw it. I just want to show how to import Revit, how to link the Revit to another Revit. So I quickly copy this one. Okay. So I quickly row the columns. Let's say all columns are same size. I place on the grid, finish. I row the beams. Okay, now I quickly copy all beams. I wrote the slab also. 300 thick slab. Okay. So in the offset, I make it 500 or 1 meter. Rectangle. Okay. I wrote the slab also. Okay. I select these all elements, right? Go to filter, unselect the column, right? This old one I want to copy to level 2. Level 1. Copy. Right. I go to level 2, face, select the face, uh, align to selected levels, right? So I select level 2. So it's called to level 2. I think I made a mistake when I wrote the columns, right? So I select the whole column first. Uh, right, filter columns, right? So base offsets, I make it 0. Top level is yeah, level 2. Base level maybe for in this one 500. Top 0. Okay. Okay. So now second sorry, you can see the columns. Okay. Now I'm going to serve this file. Is another name. Class 3 success. Success. Okay. Now I go to level 1. I'm going to open my survey point, base point, right? So I'm going to place my base point is here. Okay. So I go to the view, visual graphic, look for visual graphics. Okay. So here I look for site, site, right? Click site. Inside you select the project base point and survey point, right? So now it's here. So I move to here. I move on. I move here. Okay, survey point, I can move in the same place also, right? So I select the survey point and base point, romantic, and pin it, right? And so, okay. So I close this one. Anyway, I can open the file here also. Now I have going site drawings. Okay, this is my site, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these two grid lines to level. So I copy to level 1, right? So to modify oh, this level 1. Okay, so I already copy here. Okay, so now I'm going to link my these drawings here. Okay, I delete it, I close this one, otherwise you confuse it. Okay, I'm going to import here. That means I'm going to link it. So to link this one, go to insert, link Revit, select the file. Right, the important is positioning, how to position this one. So look for it, base point to base point, right? Both project base point, right? So both file project base point. Based on the project base point, we are going to link it. Okay. Now you see is automatically linked, right? But this one, right, actually is like a layer. Actually, it's like a layer. Okay. So you see the earlier file, right? I did not set any coordinates, right? I did not set any coordinate, right? I just wrote randomly and I place my project base point correctly. Now we import same point here, right? Here, this project base by these two lines, right, actually contain the correct coordinate system. Now I import other file is a correct location based on the project base point, right? This is a important of the project base point, right? So if you set the project base correctly, then you can import any Revit file to the projects, right? You can link it, right? So now this one, as I said, this is a like a X reference in AutoCAD, right? Like a X reference. So if you want to bind together with this original file, what you can do is you can see after select this one, right? You see the option under modify menu called bind link. So click bind link, right? Is asking you what are the element need to bind it. So I bind all, right? I'll level, grids, everything I am going to bind it. So click. Now it's binding both Revit file. So they are following a difference. Okay, I say okay. Okay, now it's already bind that. Okay, so you can serve different file. This one serve as by. Okay, so it's asking all instance of classes have been deleted, but model itself is still loaded. Remove the link using manage. Okay, remove link. Okay, we'll remove the links, right? Okay, so now you can modify this one. If you want to, you can modify this one, right? So earlier you cannot do it, now you can do it this one. So if you want, you can serve this one as a separate file. Projects class 3 bind bind. Okay. So now if you want to change, you can change it here. Okay. Remove, attach everything you can do here. So this is a important of project base point and project core survey point. So if you want to pick up any any coordinates, you can do it here. It's for coordinate system, right? You see? We never set up any coordinate for this column when we do other projects, other file, right? We didn't do anything, but now you can able to pick up the coordinate for the this column or this lines, whatever you can do it, right? If you want to do it, you can this lines point, you can take it, right? I think now you understand what's the purpose of this one. Okay, so so far I explained how to set up the core base point, how to set up the coordinate the survey point, right? That's important. Then I explained how we link the CAD file, how we link the Revit file, right? Only what I miss is how to link the CAD file PDF, right? I quickly explain it, right? Quickly explain it here. But I think that may not important for you. I may open the new file. I don't want to mess up here. I open the new file, consultant templates, go to site. Oh, here I don't see the site. Okay, never mind. Oh, here site. Okay, the same as AutoCAD file. Go for insert, link PDF, link PDF. Look for link PDF, link PDF, link topo, link insert. Ah, where's a link PDF? Huh? Why this? I cannot find a link PDF. Here, PDF, sorry. Okay, I select the file. Okay, so when you link PDF, right, normally it's asking resolution. So you can select either 300 or 600, right? Choose this one. Okay. Okay. So now this is your PDF. So now you see the cross, right? So this is a PDF. I press outside the base point, right? So you can see now. So this is a PDF. Now you imported the PDF. So if you zoom in, you can see the things, right? You can see, right? This point you can see, boundary line you can see, right? So what you can do is you can quickly use annotate and detail line, right? You can draw the lines. You cannot exactly pick here because it's not snapping, but you can do it. Still you can do it. But before that, the important is one thing I miss out is project units. Uh, First you got to set up the project units. Otherwise, everything becomes wrong. 0.001. Right, right. Okay. Then what you can do is annotate detail lines. Basically, from survey drawing, what we want is only the boundary line, right? Then others we can do in our model, right? So we pick up this one, right? So after all this one, actually we can delete this one or we can unload our PDF, right? So I unload it. So go to the manage link, PDF, look for PDF, PDF. Where's the PDF? I don't find out PDF. So I delete this one basically, right? Now you have this one, right? So what you can do is you can move this one to here. I had to pin it first. Sorry. Okay. Then what you can do is you can rotate. If you want to rotate this one, still you can do it. So go to the manage, look for location, project location, positioning, rotate north, align. Okay, you can locate it. Then you can continue and do it this work, right? Similar like AutoCAD or disadvantage is only the snapping. You cannot snap, so you have to carefully pick up the point. Okay. So one more thing, I quickly capture it. Give me 5 more minutes. Okay, I get it. I don't save this one. If you 5 more minutes, no, cancel. Okay, I go to level 2. Okay, I add one more level, level 2. Add levels. Offset. What happened? Oh my. Okay. So I go to level 3. So now I am going to import the CAD file, right? I'm going to import the CAD file and working. That means I use a CAD file to draw my grid lines and structure elements, right? So go to insert and instead of CAD file, right? Import CAD file, right? So I already have the Archi drawings here. So let us, I can share with you. So here, okay, you can choose a manually or auto direct. So okay, now I go with the origin auto, right? Okay, so uh, so this is Archi drawing. Yeah, okay, this is, don't look in it because actually this is a structural drawing that I deleted. Actually, this original our design is flat slabs, right? But for this exercise, right, better we use the beam slab system, right? So I ignore this one. Anyway, when I sent to you, I delete it, right? So now this is a Archi drawing. So you think about it, how to use this Archi drawing and draw the grid lines and columns. So this as a reference, right? So for example, right, if I click the grids, right? So pick point, right? Now you can pick the point. You see, you can pick the line, sorry. You can pick the line, right? So you can use this method to draw it. You see, just one click, you can draw. Okay, later you can rename it. So all grid line you can draw it. It's very fast, actually, right? Similarly, column. If you want to create a column, click column, choose a size, column size, right? Then pick the point because it's AutoCAD drawings. You can pick the point. Okay, okay, you got to click correctly. So once click this one is okay, working. Okay, it's very fast, you can do it. So this exercise I leave it to you, right? I'm going to work on this building, right? This is a 5-story building, all together 5-story building. So our exercise is how to do modeling this one and prepare the construction drawings. Do the design, do the design and prepare the construction drawing. That's our exercise. Okay. Okay, that's all today. So you guys want to ask anything? You can unmute yourself and ask the questions. Say something. You cannot see the full screen. Any question you want to ask? If not, then we can wind up the class. Sagaran?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
wind up in
yeah,
1 minute.
okay. Okay, thank you so much. So we meet again Thursday. Thursday we start the structural design. Okay. Okay. So the AutoCAD file, right? Architect drawing. Tomorrow I share in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.